So, if you would introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Rick Green. I'm the current president and the founder of Makerspace.
Alrighty, and what sort of reasons drove you to become a part of maker communities or start a space?
You want to go through that one? Okay. How much time do you have? This is a good story.
Go for it.
It all started with a restaurant called Smoky Bones. I don't know if you like barbecue, but I do. And there was one here in Mobile, and I didn't even like barbecue until that place came in. But they had really good ribs. And then they went out of business for no reason. And I really missed it, so I went out and bought me a smoker, and I said, I'm going to learn how they did that. And I spent about a year or so perfecting smoking meat. And then I bought this cheap little smoker, and it wasn't keeping temperature very well anymore. It just had this little hole in the bottom to let the air in, and a loose fitting lid to, let the smoke out. And it needed to be, I found out the right temperature, 224 degrees. That's a secret, don't tell anybody. And it has to maintain that for the entire time. And so I went around to look and see what other people did to maintain that temperature on this cheap little smoker, and they were drilling holes and putting in valves, and I was like, I wanted something a little bit more active, because I had to get up every 30 minutes to try to check on this thing, make sure everything was good. And I saw this thing called an Arduino, and I was like, well, maybe that thing can do something. I like electronics, I'll try it out. So I got the Arduino and a CPU blower fan and some of those digital meat thermometers and hooked it all up, and sure enough, it worked. It had a PID loop on there that whenever the ambient temperature got too low, it would just start to ramp it up and not overshoot, and it worked great. So I said, what else can I do with this? I got the Ethernet shield for the Arduino. Plugged the thing into the internet, and I used Google spreadsheet as a data logger. And I could plot the whole smoke, I can look at it in real time, everything was working just fine. And I was like, I gotta show other people how to do this. So I called up all my friends from college and said, hey, I'm gonna start this thing called a Makerspace, where I'm gonna show people how to do things like I did with this Arduino. And back in 2012, November 2012, we had our first meeting at Panera Bread with 4 people, and we started coming down to Art Walk. I'd bring a fold-up table. We would make LED throwies, have the little kids come up and make them, and we'd get like little drawdios and whatever we could and take down there and show people. And then we just ran into an art scene that we were trying to move out of this space, but they were sharing it with Delta Bike Project, and they wanted to stay, but they couldn't afford it on their own, so we kind of took over a part of the building and we share it. And we've been here since now 3 years.
Alright, and as you've learned to do some of the things you've done, are these skills that you already had? Were you always a maker?
Well, my making goes back to about age 7. I was big in Radio Shack, going in there. I knew more about the stores than the people that worked there, and I was helping people find stuff. And my grandfather introduced me into computing back in '79. I was just a kid, and he couldn't read real well, but he got this magazine that would have code in it, basic code, and so I would read out the code to him and he would type it in, and that's how I learned how to program. And ever since then I've been working with computers and then loving electronics. I went into the military to be an electronics tech, and then eventually a computer programmer, then now onto IT. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm IT manager for a manufacturing plant.
Alright, and so here come a couple of the big questions. Anybody who may have interest in becoming more makerly or doing makerly kinds of things, what are the recommendations you would give them as places to start on their adventure? Anybody who wants to know what they need to do to become more of a maker.
Get involved in a makerspace. That's all I can say. We do that. We go out to the community, because not everybody knows what making is. They just know what do-it-yourself is. They know how to tinker. They know how to break things. They don't always know how to fix them, but they would like to. And that's what we offer them here at a Makerspace. If you break it, you fix it. Where no one's gonna get onto you about breaking something.
Right. And what would you say to any of those people who may be intimidated about potentially entering a space that feels like it's set up for experts and skilled people? And
That's a problem that we have here. A lot of the people that come in here, they think, oh, this is the neatest thing ever, but they're very intimidated by what's going on here, especially the electronics, the 3D printing, and they think, oh, I could never do this. And what I do is I say, you probably can. It's not as hard as you think. Just come on down during an open house, or I'll give a free lesson on how to run Tinkercad and maybe do a 3D print. And they're mesmerized by it, but most of them are still kind of intimidated. That's when we go out and we do these shows, show what we've built. Some of the things are very simple. They don't have to be complicated.
all right. And so, sort of related to these topics is the big question I like to ask everybody is, who is and who isn't a maker? Where does those boundaries lie?
I don't know how to answer that because I am a maker and I always have been, and I always encourage everyone to be one. I guess the person that would not be a maker is no one. No one. Everyone has the capability. And to me, everyone has a capability. It's just whether or not they have the attitude.
And what kind of attitude do they need to be a maker?
The one that's not afraid to tinker, to break something, and learn how it works. Yeah, you might have paid a lot of money for something, like maybe a PlayStation 2 or 3, and it just stopped working. And well, take it apart. Don't just sell it to somebody that will do it for you. Come bring it down, and we'll help you learn how to do something with it. Turn it into something else if you want.
All right. And as I go forward to other maker spaces, what would you be interested in learning from them as I go?
Oh, learning how to deal with the people that are difficult, don't understand, or think that they're too intimidated to work with people they think are well above their level. We're not above their level. We're just different, and we want to help them be different too.
Is there anything that you feel needs to be said specifically about you in particular as an individual, and what you do for making, that I haven't asked that maybe you would like to communicate to people who may view videos about this?
Most people think that I'm exceptional in certain things, and I just have an ability to fix things, really. I mean, I consider it more luck and maybe a little skill, but that comes from making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, so get over it. You come in, you break something, you learn from it, and you move on. Don't think, oh, I'm too scared now. But unless you really get hurt, trying to work on 220 volts or something, you'll pick yourself up and don't do that again. But don't let that stop you from learning how to make.